Hello everyone, I'm Michaela Kathleen. Happy Father's Day! To celebrate Father's Day, I thought I would do a quick video celebrating some great father-son relationships in books. So I've got 5 here to talk about, and jumping right in, the first one is Wonder by R.J. Palacio. This book is about a little boy with face deformities, and he's going to public school for the first time, and I think he's entering like 4th or 5th grade. And his name is Augie, and he actually has a really great relationship with his entire family, and that definitely includes his dad. Both his mom and dad kind of struggle with the balance between being overprotective and encouraging Augie's independence. But his dad definitely always makes the effort to encourage Augie's independence, but also let him know that if he decides a situation is too much, that he can always change his mind. For example, the whole going into public school thing, his dad lets him know at the beginning that if he wants to go back to homeschooling after he's given public schools a try, he can. But he tells him that he just has to tell them why he wants to go back to homeschooling, and that happens throughout the book, Augie's dad encouraging Augie to share his feelings, which is really great to see in a father-son relationship. And whenever Augie does make big strides all on his own, or even small strides, his dad doesn't have this kind of overreaction of, oh no, my baby is growing up kind of a thing. Like at one point in the book, Augie asks his dad to stop calling him Augie Doggy, which has been his adorable nickname since childhood. And rather than being like, oh, but I always call you Augie Doggy or something like that, he just gives Augie a thumbs up and proceeds to just call him Augie rather than Augie Doggy from there on out. No questions asked. So it's a really great, encouraging relationship and really beautiful to read. Next, I have A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin, and here I have Ned Stark and Jon Snow. And without being spoilery, I do realize that Ned does keep a fairly large secret from Jon his entire life, but he does that to protect Jon, and overall, this is just a really great father-son type relationship, and I think Ned really does try to do his best by Jon in kind of a hard situation, and definitely raises Jon right with a very strong moral code, which he does, of course, with all of his sons. But I feel like we get to see a little bit more of Ned and Jon's relationship than any of the others, and it's definitely a more complicated relationship that would have been more difficult for Ned to navigate. But I think he definitely was a very good role model, a good father figure for Jon. Next, I have I Love You, Beth Cooper by Larry Doyle. And you don't get to see a whole lot of Dennis's dad in this book, but what you do get to see is a very funny dad encouraging his son, who is quite academic and kind of a stressed out kid, takes school very seriously, and you get to see his dad really encourage him to have fun and try to help him feel less stressed about things. And he lets him know that he should really try to live life, and that even though, you know, he's his dad and he doesn't want him to make too big of mistakes, he does want him to make some mistakes and, you know, be able to learn from them. So a relationship that I think it's too bad there couldn't have been more of. Next, I have Aragon by Christopher Paolini, and this is another one where our time with the dad, Garrow, is a little bit too short. Garrow is Aragon's uncle, but Aragon is an orphan, so he has grown up his entire life with his uncle, and then his cousin Roran, Garrow is of course Roran's dad, so we get to see that father-son relationship too. And Aragon and Garrow kind of have a father-son relationship as well, obviously. But even though we don't get to see much of Garrow, he does give the boys some great advice in the book. And I thought to really illustrate their relationship best, I would just read out a quote from Garrow. He gives the boys this advice as Roran is about to move away and start his first job as an adult. Consider none your superior. Whatever their rank or station in life, treat all fairly or they will seek revenge. Be careful with your money, hold fast to your beliefs, and others will listen. Of the affairs of love, my only advice is to be honest. That is your most powerful tool to unlock a heart or gain forgiveness. That is all I have to say. And so yeah, it's just clear that Garrow tried to raise these boys right and give them a strong moral fiber. The last father-son relationship I have is from Kids of Appetite by David Arnold. And in this, the dad has died of cancer, and the book is about his son, Vic, finding a note inside of his urn instructing various places for his mother to spread the ashes, but his mom has not felt up to it, and she has moved on to another relationship, partly because it is very painful for her to even think about her husband who has died. And so Vic takes it upon himself to figure out where these ashes are supposed to be spread. The instructions were specifically for his mother, so he doesn't quite know exactly all the different spots. But throughout the book, there are a lot of flashbacks of when Vic's father was alive that really shows their relationship, and it is a beautiful one. Vic has Mobius syndrome, in which he's unable to move his facial muscles, and his dad helps him a lot with this throughout his life, of course. He talks a lot about the different life lessons that his dad has taught him, like teaching him to think with his heart, and he calls his dad a real heart thinker. And Vic talks about how he has trouble picturing things in his head because he is unable to close his eyes. And so his dad tells him what he sees when he closes his eyes and teaches Vic to go to his land of nothingness in order to be able to imagine things. Because he says people really just need to start with a blank slate in order to imagine stuff in their heads. Another thing highlighted a lot in the book is how Vic's mom and dad really exemplified a really healthy, loving relationship for Vic, and his grandparents on his dad's side did the same, and how Vic was just really surrounded by love growing up. His dad gives him kind of a lot of art education, he listens to a lot of opera, and he introduces Vic to his favorite painter, Matisse. And they're able to find beauty in their asymmetry. And throughout the book, he just kind of imagines what his dad would say to him in different circumstances, different comforts that he would offer. And it's clear that Vic still really relies on his dad, even when his dad is gone. So yeah, these were just some really great father-son relationships in books. I hope you enjoyed, and happy Father's Day again. Remember, words matter.